What's up, guys? Welcome to A Work in Progress, a show that we film every week where 3, sometimes 4 best friends sit on this couch and talk for your amusement. Sadly, Alfredo couldn't be here, so we invited Chicken Alfredo to be on the show. And he's going to be starting us off this week with his topic, so let's hear it. That's okay, take your time. Alright, we'll go back to it.
He doesn't have a topic right now. That's what happens when you don't prepare, and that's going to be my topic today. I want to talk about how important preparing for speeches are in public and in private, just talking to friends and whatnot. Because when you don't prepare and don't even think about it, it just comes out not making any sense at all. Last week I realized I said a lot, and it probably made what I was saying not able to comprehend. So I'm going to work on that, and yeah, that's gonna be kind of the base of my topic. When you're gonna have public speeches, you kind of have to make sure you know what you're gonna say, kind of bullet point it out in your head. That's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm able to speak so
eloquently.
Yeah, so much better than last week.
I think last week the largest problem was that it was actually more of a conversation than it is now, because when I'm talking to you, I'm probably saying a lot, and I just don't realize. So, I mean, the thing with saying a lot is just, I think it's it gives time to sort of think what you're gonna say. So, it really depends on the context of the speaking, I think, that you're doing. When you're preparing, there's sort of a lot of things that you don't really need to prepare for, especially if it's just a presentation or something in front of a class.
Actually, I think that's a kind of an important thing to prepare for, because when you don't prepare for it, then you just freeze up, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. You keep saying and then you just there's a point for some people where they just freeze and can't speak anymore. I've been in that situation once, saying and yeah, it's horrible. So it's really important to prepare for what you're saying, even if it's in class.
Well, in my opinion, I don't really need to do that. Just based on the fact that I've always been a really good talker. Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but at the risk of sounding really arrogant, I feel that I'm a really good speaker, and I think that's largely due to the fact that that's largely due to the fact that as a child, I was always talking in class, and I would always get talks too much on my report cards and stuff. And I mean, sure, my teachers didn't like it then, but now now that I'm growing up and speaking is more a more important part of my life, and just dealing with people, I feel that it's really helped me find my voice and just understand how to interact with people and have this sort of tone where it might be prepared but it might not be. So I like to keep it loosey-goosey and just keep everyone on their toes, so I just wing it a lot of the times.
For me, I didn't talk at all when I was little. I barely started being social and talking to more people and trying to talk in class. And one, that's because grades, I kind of branched out from grades to where I actually want to talk and say things in class. And that's kind of where I learned most of my speaking skills. That's where I kind of realized where I need that I need to prepare what I'm going to say. Also including last week's show, I didn't prepare anything. Neither did Alfredo, and here he is again, not preparing anything.
Yeah, stupid shit.
Checking Alfredo.
Well, he brought up his childhood and I brought up mine, and so I think you could really see the difference between the way we speak based just solely on the development of how we've been speaking, because now in the program we're in at school, it's really important to talk, and you're rewarded for talking. So it really wasn't a good fit for me. But even if it's not a good fit for people to speak, it's important too, because that's the way you're gonna communicate with people and take advantage of the opportunities presented to you. For example, if you're being interviewed for a job, or even just going to school somewhere, you can't just have a strong application with good grades and a good essay, because they're gonna want to interview you and see who you are as a person, more so than just based on your grades in this world where everyone has good grades now, and you're not the only one with good grades anymore. Everyone else is gonna have good grades as well. So I mean, there's just a lot of places where speaking comes up and is really important, and this is just one of the situations that
Very important. Very important.
So what else you got? You got anything else to say on public speaking?
That's about it.
How could you prepare?
Actually, okay. When I prepare for speeches, like you might even see this in like some tutorial online or something. You basically, when say like you're preparing a speech or something, you have to like get it down to the point where you're speaking like a conversation, but like you know like what you're gonna say in the conversation. But like when you're doing it, you have to go through different topics. So like, say I'm speaking about birds, like I have to set out different points about birds and then just talk through them. Like and it's good to practice it like on your own time and like make sure it's like smooth, because like when you change it like during the speech, like the whole thing is messed up. Like I don't know if any of you have had that like like that chance, like that thing happen to you, but there's been times where I've prepared for a speech and like I prepared really really well. Like I always like I kept like going over the speech and saying it in like my head and whatnot, and then like on the day of the speech I went to like speak and I changed one thing and like the rest of the speech like left my head. Like I didn't know what I was talking about at all. It was really bad.
I think what you mentioned that was really important to note was that you said you had a lot of points that you wanted to talk about. Yeah. And when I prepare for like an actual speech, that's one of the things that I do is I don't memorize like a script, I guess you would say, like a lot of people do. But I memorize what I'm going to talk about in the presentation or speech or whatever I'm doing. Because if you like, but this is like solely dependent on you actually knowing what you're talking about, so you can't not know what you're talking about and just come up with stuff on the spot. Being knowledgeable about what you're talking about is also very helpful, because if you do sort of run into the situation where you like mess up on what you were going to say and the rest of like what you prepared leaves your head, you can just sort of go into what you already know about like the given topic that you're speaking of, which is what I sort of do. Like when I say I don't prepare, that's not true. Like I prepare, but it's just everyone does have their own way of preparation for sort of different situations based on the way like what works for them.
Yeah, you can't wing it if like you have no idea what the topic is about. Like you have to at least have some background knowledge if you're gonna try to wing it. So like even if you're gonna like have a speech and like you know you can wing it, at least like study like into the topic.
Yeah, like what I like to sort of correlate it to is like a mental PowerPoint. And I'm not talking about like PowerPoints that kids make at school, because everyone knows that when you get a PowerPoint project, you just copy and paste things and put in your PowerPoint and read the PowerPoint, which I really think is the wrong way to do it, first of all. So if you're making PowerPoints like that, please stop, because that's annoying. So what I believe a PowerPoint should be is just sort of like a little snippet of words that conveys like a point. And the information isn't supposed to be on the slide. The information is supposed to be from word of mouth. So the information on the slide is what triggers that information. So that's what I sort of related to in my head, is like if we're talking about birds, I'll describe like the word on the slide would be camouflage, diet, and like this and like I don't know, feather length or something. And I'll be like, okay, color, blah, 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 blah. It's this color for this reason, which is why it's camouflage. So it fits in well with its environment. What else was the other one? I don't know. Whatever, you guys know what I'm saying. So I don't know much about birds anyway. So yeah, that's sort of what I like to think of as I'm speaking.
That proves the point that you can't wing it if you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
if you want to talk about birds, you should have studied birds. That's why like I kind of like mentioned it, but I didn't really go into it. Also, going off what you said.
It was pretty decent though. If you like, you got
yeah,
like, that was pretty sweet. Yeah. Like how I just went off dome like that.
Oh yeah, I wanted to like, say off dome in this. Okay,
but I got to it first.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. What the? I don't even know what just happened. Like.
What were you saying? I don't know.
What was your
going over
topic? Let's just go to your topic now.
Why? No,
okay.
I like this. I like this topic. It's a good topic. It's a good topic.
I had something to say and I forgot it, but I remembered it. Okay.
It's a mountain fizz.
Yeah. Don't look at the logo. So yeah. In times, I don't know if you've seen it, but in times, like when watching a PowerPoint, like you can kind of see more. You can kind of understand it better if like the person's speaking about it more than like what's on the slide. Because like when there's like a lot on the slide, you just want to take time to copy it down and get everything that's on the slide, because like that's what you think is important. But when you have like three like small certain topics on the slide, and the person like giving the presentation is speaking more about it, you're like able to hear what they're saying and like get the full depth of it instead of like just copying it down and missing everything they say.
Yeah, and I think we sort of touched on this a little bit. Is the tone that you're trying to go for when you're presenting something is sort of, it should be organic. It doesn't necessarily need to be just made up on the spot based on knowledge you have. If you are preparing something, make sure you're writing it down as you're saying it from your mouth so it doesn't sound weird. Because a lot of the times people will like write these verbose, just like incredibly like complex speeches that like sometimes it sounds like they don't know what they're talking about. But if it's just like you had a joke here, or you like, I don't know, just make it sound like you're speaking it just all on the spot, because it just makes it more interesting that way. And it also, I feel like when someone talks that way, it makes me feel more connected to what they're saying, and it makes me more interested because it sounds like they're like directly addressing me. So that's also a really good part of speaking, which I feel like it takes a lot of experience and sort of work to get there, but it's really like you really notice it when someone does have it, and you notice when someone doesn't have it too.
Yeah, don't use big words when you don't really know what they mean. Like if you know what a big word
Dude, are you
means.
saying I don't know what I'm talking about?
No. Like you're an example of someone who uses big words.
Chill.
You use big words like when you know like they're gonna like help the conversation, but like when you don't need to use a big word. Yeah, like that. Where, like some of you probably don't even know what that means, but they probably.
Are you saying our audience is dumb?
No.
You guys are smart. You guys are smart.
Yeah,
I love you.